Stop wasting money on your Pinterest ads today, and instead of using cookie cutter, outdated advice, dive into your data with my 3-step framework that I use with my e-commerce clients all the time and get your next profitable campaign from today onwards. This is the 3-step framework that I've been using with my clients whenever we see a campaign that's not working, or when they come to me with campaigns that are not working. We're going to follow and look into your Pinterest ads data, because I use the ad reporting in Pinterest because that's my specialty. And we're going to see what the data tells us and decide what is the first needle moving optimization we're going to do to make sure that we're turning those ads profitable. Let's dive in. I have my notes here, so I might occasionally look at them because I want to make sure I'm not skipping over any steps here. First of all, we're going into the ad reporting and looking at every campaign. If you're looking at the campaign level, you want to make sure, okay, is my campaign actually spending? If it's not spending the budget, that might be two things. Either you have set it up with manual bidding and your cost per click or your cost per acquisition is a little bit too low and not giving Pinterest enough wiggle room to find those people that want to purchase your product. And you might want to give it a little more room, or you put it onto not custom bidding, so performance plus bidding is what it's called now. And then if that's not the case, it might actually be a targeting issue. So you might be actually targeting a little bit too specific. So if you have very specific keywords that people are only typing in a couple of times per day, you get very little chances of showing your product. And if people are not using those keywords, people are not going to see your pin. So I really recommend broadening up your keywords in that case, and also try maybe some very specific, if you have very specific interests, broaden up the interest categories that you're targeting. So that's the first one out of the way. If this is not an issue and your budget is spending, then we need to have a more deeper look at your ad group. What I like to do first is go into the ad group level, and for every ad group, see, okay, because you're budgeting at your campaign level, Pinterest will allocate the budget over the different ad groups that you have within your campaign, and you have no control over how it will be spending or how it will be allocating this budget. So if you want to have control, then you have to set every ad group in a separate campaign, and you are going to be sure that it's going to spend all that money. Okay. If you have different ad groups within your campaign, Pinterest will allocate the budget. So first, let's look at the campaign that's spending the most of your budget. You want to have an idea of, okay, is it actually spending? Because if it's not spending, you're going to have to, within these ad groups, you're going to have to change up the keywords and the interests. And if it's spending, and you're seeing a very high cost per click or a very high cost per mail, so a CPM, a cost per 1,000 views, you might be targeting in a very crowded niche. So there's a lot of competition out there, and you're gonna have to pay a lot. And basically every time your ad is shown, it's kind of an auction, and whoever has the highest bid will get higher in the ranking of the search result or higher in the feed based on the interest that the person has that is shown the ad to. So there's constantly little auctions going on that you're bidding against other people for. And if there's a lot of people bidding, you're gonna have to pay more. And if you have a very crowded niche, there's a lot of people, and you're gonna need to have a bigger budget to actually constantly bid those other people and make sure that your ad is shown. And the more crowded it gets, the more money you pay, the less your ad will be shown, basically. And you might want to have a look, okay, is there another way that I can actually start targeting my audience that might be a little less crowded and might still get the results as well? So look at other interests of your audience or other products that they are really interested in, and use this in the back of your head of, okay, how can we actually target the audience on Pinterest in a different way to make sure that we have a little less competition and the ads get more profitable. Then, if you have a very high CPA, the CPA should be basically the same as your average order value to make sure that you're breaking even on your ads. So ideally you want to have a lower CPA than your average order value because it gives you wiggle room to start scaling your ads, to get a better ROAS, to get more profitable, to experiment with your ads and still be profitable. So ideally, if you have a very high CPA, there's gonna be a couple of things that could be the issue. And what I often see is that it's an issue where you're targeting people not in the right way. And this could be because your CTR is really low. So you're using ad creatives that are not working. And I will go deeper into that on the ad creative level. But it could also be that you're targeting in a niche that is really competitive and you're going to need a lot of need to show up a lot of times before people are actually willing to purchase because there's a lot of other people offering this. Or it might be that there's a lot of people who are offering this a little cheaper, so you're gonna need more convincing. And like, this is really signaling, okay, we need to do something about the targeting, or we need to do something to pump up that average order value. If you know, okay, my target is on point and I can easily pay the cost per click, and I know that we're getting a lot of checkouts, but still the CPA is just staying high, find a way to increase your average order value to create that wiggle room. Okay, so now that you have looked at the ad group level, I like to break the campaign down in interests and keywords and go and have a look. Okay, are there any keywords that are spending money and they're actually not bringing in any checkouts? They're not bringing in any add to carts. And maybe you have all the keywords are bringing checkouts and add to carts, but some have a really high CPM or a really high cost per click or a really low CTR, so click-through rate. You might want to remove them too, because you want to make sure that you are really you're signaling to Pinterest, okay, this behavior of people, like these people are the ones that are really taking action when they're landing on my website, they're checking out. These are the people I want you to target. So you're training your Pinterest stack, basically. You're sharing with the Pinterest algorithm, okay, this is the people that I need to reach to be profitable and spend more on Pinterest. Okay, now that you have looked at your keywords and your interests and you know, okay, all my keywords have a low cost per click, they have a low CPM, they actually have a pretty good click-through rate, or maybe they have a low click-through rate, but you still need to have a look at the ad creatives. You need to dive deeper into your ads and go a level deeper, which is the ad creative. And the pin that you have created, you want to look at a couple of things on these pins. So first of all, obviously you want to have a look at the click-through rate, and the benchmark click-through rate for a good click-through rate is actually 1% on Pinterest. I try to aim a lot higher, and usually you can get a lot higher, but know that you can get really good results with a CTR of just 1% on Pinterest, because the way that Pinterest is showing, even on mobile, is that there's a bunch of different pins all at the same time shown, and every impression counts, of course, as a view. And on Instagram or on TikTok, you're only seeing one video. So it's very easy to scroll past the ad without clicking on it, or without even seeing it really, being really intentional and seeing that ad. So that's why that's why I think that the CTR is much lower on Pinterest, and I'm still seeing good results and still seeing a good ROAS, even though the CTR is way lower than it would be on Facebook ads. Okay, So first of all, if your CTR is really low, it's going to be more expensive to get those people to your website, because you're going to need more views. If you have a CTR of 0.3, you're gonna need 3 times as many views as when you have a CTR of 1%. And you're gonna be naturally spending more to get those outbound clicks, to get these people to purchase, to get those people to your website basically. And you want to make sure that you're optimizing your CTR, because that's really going to help you getting more profitable ads. Then I also want you to have a look, okay, sometimes a pin has a very high CTR, but it's not getting any checkouts or add to carts. And that might be a signal that you're actually creating creatives that are too inspirational, for example, or people like it, but they're not taking action. So you're actually targeting the wrong people. You're speaking to the wrong people when you are promoting these pins. So go and have a look. Okay, how can I actually optimize this pin to attract people who are taking action? Because that's the people you're gonna need, and that's the people you want to target, and also want the Pinterest algorithm to target for you. And if you're getting a bunch of saves and no outbound clicks, or you're getting outbound clicks and no add to carts or checkouts, there's obviously like something off, and you're speaking to the wrong people, or there's something really off on your website. But that's something like a next step. So basically, this is what your ads are telling you, and these are the basic steps, the basic framework that you want to use to diagnose, okay, what is going on here, and start like at the smallest change and then work all the way up. And I prefer to first see, okay, is there something in the ad create? Well, is it spending? Yes or no. If it's spending, then go to the ad creative level and see, okay, is there something I can optimize on this level to make the campaign more targeted to the people I want to reach? If that's on point, go and have a look at your targeting and see, okay, is this on point? Is my targeting actually working well? Because that's like way bigger, and you want to see, okay, can I start with a small increment, like a small step to improve first? Okay, now that you have gotten this out of the way, what I really I want to make sure that I'm not skipping anything. Yeah, so what I really love doing is going into Pinterest and see, okay, is the data telling me something is happening on the website, and what is it telling me about the behavior of Pinterest users on as soon as they actually land onto your store? So what I often see is you have a couple of things that you can do. What I often see is, first of all, you want to look at, am I getting outbound clicks? So are people visiting the website? And if they're visiting the website, are they adding to cart? Because that tells you something about whether it's the website is well, is it trustworthy? Is there something you can change here? Or maybe we're targeting completely the wrong people. That could be it, but you should see that from the other data as well, like the high CPM, etc. So that should be something that you're already kicking in the butt, basically. So if you are seeing no add to carts, there might be something. Sometimes I even had once that the add to cart button was just broken on mobile. Like stuff like that, it can be so easy, but it's so valuable to also look at that data and be really critical. Okay, I'm seeing outbound clicks and web people are visiting, but they're just not adding to cart. What's going on? Is there something on the product page I can improve? If people are adding to cart and they're not checking out, they're not finishing the ad checkout, how can you optimize this process? Is there something off in the checkout process? Are you not catching people who abandoned their cart? Are there any hidden fees, for example? Stuff like that can really decrease your conversion rate on your website. And you wanna see you can see on Pinterest, like, hey, I'm getting all these add to carts, but like nobody's checking out. There's something wrong here, and I'm actually targeting the right people because they're taking action, but they're just not getting, I'm not getting that sale. Then the last thing that I really like to do is, if you have all these things optimized and you still see, okay, my average order value is not going up, and usually you will see your average order value go up once you have your campaigns optimized, once you are targeting the right people, once you have figured out, okay, what products can I offer them that will bring the biggest average order value. That might be a sign to actually start upping your back-end game, or start offering more on your checkout to make sure you're increasing this average order value and give you more wiggle room to start scaling your campaigns without having constantly to invest from other places, so you can basically make this run on its own. Okay, so these are the tips that I have. This is the framework that I'm using with my clients. If you want me to basically hold your hand going through this framework, I have the Pinterest Ads Recovery. It's in the description below, and you can just follow I will just explain to you, okay, this is where you get started. This is the steps that you're going to take first if this is the data that you're seeing. And also I will help you to identify how you can use this to actually scale your campaigns, or if you're running into issues when you're scaling your campaigns. All right, in the next video, we'll debunk a couple of myths that I see people believing all the time and then are really holding them back in actually optimizing their Pinterest ads and getting them profitable fast and really cost effective. And I see this happen all the time. So I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching this one. Bye.